What about the NAACP and Alan West? I mean, here you have a guy. Yeah, I've never understood this. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That's the group, right?
Yeah.
Why do you have to be a liberal? Why is Clarence Thomas not endorsed? Why is Alan West? Why are we still here where we ought to be celebrating the success, regardless of people's views, of African Americans? Why?
Well, remember what he said. I mean, he accused people within that party of being communists. I mean, what he said was irresponsible. It was reckless. And he has not only not apologized, but he's doubled down on it. Of course, they don't want... I mean,
wait a minute. And there's never been a liberal African-American that said something controversial?
Sure.
Okay.
I am sure there is. But again, but what they were saying is similar to what happened with the Army this week and not allowing Ted Nugent to go back on because he also said some inflammatory remarks.
But I think you just gave it away right there, Penny.
No, but what I was saying is they are not endorsing. So to deny him the right to come before me, it's just simply saying that we are not denying.
You just gave it away. You said in that party. The NAACP is not the same as the Democratic Party, though you wouldn't know by watching it. By the way, the NAACP, storied history though it has, is a totally discredited group. And anyone who doesn't think so doesn't know much about the modern NAACP. It represents virtually no one. It's bankrupt literally and morally. It's an absurd fringe group, and I don't know why we pay any attention to what they think. We're bullied into it because it was at one point a force for good. It's no longer.
But I'd be a little careful. They may be bankrupt.
No, I'm not going to be careful.
I don't think they're morally bankrupt.
Of course they are.
But listen, they have a platform at the NAACP, and West doesn't belong on it.
Wait a minute.
Clarence Thomas doesn't belong on it.
But the group's name, the National Association for the Advancement of People. Why do you have to be liberal?
Because...
Why did Clarence Thomas... Here's Clarence Thomas, who has the quintessential American story, and the only reason he faced opposition was in large part because he's a conservative, Bob.
In large part because his rulings have been, in their view, on their platform, not helpful to the advancement of colored people. How's that?
Oh, okay, so you have to be a liberal.
Yes, sure.
So it's about liberal.
It's about the advancement of
liberal.
And, not
liberal. Why don't we just add the L to the word?
Well, because
to the group.
Look, it would be the same as you're saying to me that the Chamber of Commerce, because it's a bunch of white old dudes, ought to endorse every white old dude in Congress.
No, wait a second. The point of the NAACP, by definition, is to represent people based on their skin color, not based on their ideology. And the idea that the left-wing ideology, the progressive ideology, is always good for black Americans is ridiculous and counterproductive.
But they're not saying that. Just because they're denying him or saying that they no longer want you at that event doesn't mean that they're not denying the fact that they are trying to advance those that
they refuse to allow him to appear. Why not?
This is not the first time that says back to the 1950s.
After what he said, but remember they invited him.
Give me the example of a liberal that's been denied access.
They invited him to come, but what he said was so offensive is what
Why would you deny a liberal? Because I think of what Tucker Carlson said.
Because you're black.
I don't think liberal policies
every single year.
Look, 50% of African-American youth now can't get a summer job. The higher unemployment rates in this country are the African-American community. Obama and liberal policies have not helped African-Americans.
That's your position. It's not the NAACP's position.
Well, maybe that's the problem.
All right, we'll continue more with
the problem is it's a Republican
great American panel. You never know what Becca will do next.